Here we go. Um, I've been having a really hard time since Saturday coming to grips with what happened today. I don't know what to think, what to say, what to do in all of these situations. I know that none of this is about me. Um, DMX is a person who influenced my life so much, and it's so hard to explain or put into words, except for the fact that when I felt alone, I felt like his music was there to comfort me. I I didn't grow up as bad as a lot of people did, but I grew up in a way that I felt alone. And I grew up with so many different emotions that I didn't know how to describe. And in the simplest terms, there was always a lyric, there was always a verse that I could relate to, that I could feel something. When I was just a kid, somewhere around kindergarten, first grade, my parents separated. And around second grade, before I started second grade, my father moved from New York to Delaware. And that left me without my dad at home. And I never thought it was that big a deal because he was always a phone call away. He was always right there if I needed to talk to him. But in the spur of the moment, he wasn't. And it did a lot of damage. When it comes to raising my son, when it comes to dealing with women, when it comes to just being a man. And when I hear artists talk about not having a father figure, not knowing how to be a man, I can relate. And it makes me feel like I'm not alone. And I've had these thoughts, these vibes from other podcasters that, part of doing this is for their mental health. And, I always considered myself someone who knew how to handle stress pretty well. And I've learned through growing up as an adult, I don't handle stress well at all. And in that stress, I've acted the wrong ways. I've said the wrong things. I've been angry. And in all ways, shapes, or forms, I could always put on DMX's music and recenter my feelings. I don't know. I don't know what else to say except that I feel alone again. And it's not like the catalog has changed. It's not like he's added more music. It's not like he was going to bang out an album a year or anything like that, or start a TV show where we were going to get more of him than we've had in the past. And the same albums are the same albums. And I don't know. So I'm just gonna go through his catalog and sit here and talk when I feel like I need to talk. You know, in '96, the end of '95, beginning of 1996, I moved from a predominantly black elementary school back into a predominantly white elementary school. And over the 3.5 years before that, I was highly influenced by the hip hop community around me. And it's been in my soul ever since. The music that speaks to me most is hip hop. And I was on the Pac and Biggie wave. I was actually in the Snoop and Dr. Dre before that. I love the vibe of West Coast hip hop. I thought Regulators was the coolest song I ever heard in my life. Still kind of is. Shouts to Warren G and Nate Dogg. Snoop is an icon to me. He's untouchable. He can make whatever music he wants. It doesn't matter. If you don't give props to Snoop, then there's no commercialization of hip hop without being commercial. I've said this about Snoop for years. He's the only artist to make hip hop sound so easy, like anybody can do it. So I was a big fan of Snoop. And Biggie took over, especially in my hood, especially in my neighborhood, where all the kids were like, yo, check this Biggie shit out. Like, this is crazy. You know, and that's all the older kids would do in the neighborhood, the ones that were in middle school, high school at the time. They get the tape deck, bring the boombox out to the playground, and just bump Biggie. Just bump Biggie. Biggie took over. He took over. And when I had moved out of that neighborhood back into the neighborhood I used to, or back to the school district that I used to be, I was an instant outcast. Because back then, I was called everything, man. Why you talking with a black accent? Trying to be a wigger. All these things, like, but that culture, it spoke to me. It spoke to me in a way because we were all kind of raised by each other in that neighborhood. All of our parents had problems of one way or another, and we never knew it. We never talked about it. We never did it. We raised each other. We hung around. We listened to music. We played sports, football, basketball, all that stuff. And then when I left that neighborhood and the friends I had made in that school district to go to what my mother told me was a safer place to be, she neglected the fact that I was surrounded by people who were helping take care of me. And we went from an apartment complex where it was, I don't know, probably 20, 30 kids within 5 years of age, and then another 20, 30 kids, 10 years older than that, all their older brothers and sisters. And we were a community, man, to a house on a main street. And the only time I seen kids or had any slight of trying to have friends was at school. But again, I was outcasted when I came back to the same people I grew up with just 4 years before that. And this is, like I said, end of 95, 96. And that summer in 96, I remember Mace was getting a lot of radio play. And Mace was starting to take over. So I'm the only kid in that school that listens to hip hop authentically. You know, there was a lot of kids trying to placate the style, but they never grew up in it. It was like, I saw that on TV, so I'm going to wear that. And I'm like, well, this is what everybody in my neighborhood wore, so this is what I'm wearing. I don't dress like, MTV. I didn't. If I did, it's because that's what we did in the neighborhood. We laced our shoes a different way in the neighborhood. I remember a kid was dating a girl underneath the apartment I was living in, and he caught me walking in. He must have been like a freshman, sophomore, high school. He used to walk. His name was Rich. Shouts to Rich, bro. I don't even know anything else about him except he had this big ass Rottweiler named General. That's where I lived. I lived in a spot where the dude who was dating a girl would walk from another neighborhood with a Rottweiler named General. Okay. He caught me walking into the apartment building. He's like, "Yo, what's good with your laces, man?" And he relaced my shoes for me. Told me how to basically put swag in my shoes, man. They're probably Volts from Caldor, So Mace is popping in the summer of '96 all over the radio, Hot 97. And I don't know how I got the album in '96, because I looked it up. It came out in '97, but I know I had it that summer somehow. Somehow I had it that summer. Maybe from an old friend who came over the new spot. Might have had a bootleg copy or something. I don't remember. Whatever happened, I ended up with it, and the song 24 Hours to Live was on there. I'm a YouTube it right now so I can listen to it in my headphones. And I thought 24 Hours to Live was the craziest song I ever heard. It just had heart, like straightforward, punch you in the mouth lyrics that wasn't Snoop style, because Snoop style was sing songy and laid back, but still, and Dr. Dre was, again, was just laid back and but still get you and wet you up, and like it was always sing songy. It was never hip hop at you. And when I first heard 24 Hours to Live, first of all, the beat is fucking phenomenal. The beat is insane. And I thought Black Rob killed it, right? And then my man Lou, shout out to Lou, man. I love you, homie. Shout out to Lou. He's like, yo, Sheik wrote that verse, man. He told me that shit 20 years later. It was like, yo, Sheik wrote that verse. Don't let nobody play you. Sheik used to write all Black Rob shit. And 6'4", the pedestal. Just love this song, man. But that X gets on the track, it just goes off, and I'm like, what is that voice? What is that voice? It sounded familiar. It sounded foreign all at the same time. I was like, I know that voice. And fuck, man. I don't know, man. I just when I hear when I hear his voice, I hear the story he's telling. I hear the pain he's walking through. And for some reason, it connected. I used to tell people in the food business, food and music are the two things in this world that have to speak to you to enjoy it. People who grow up in India love curry, man. Some people over here can't stand it. It's got to speak to you. It's got to be natural. Music's the same way. There's country songs that hit. Country songs that hit for me because they speak to me. But people ask me all the time, if DMX is your GOAT, then what's your favorite song? I said it don't matter. I play 1 through 5 all the way through. There is no favorite song. It's just, it's a vibe, man. X has a way of putting words to music that tells a story, that gives you a vibe. And you either relate to that vibe or you don't. But I've been defending this man since 24 Hours to Live, since 96, 97. Because he comes with a rawness. And it's not just raw in the things he says. And yes, they're vulgar, grotesque, all of that. PC culture don't apply. And I don't know, man. He said so many things in so many songs that sounded the same to people who don't feel the emotion. But he said so many things the same way in different songs that made me feel different emotions. And for me, that's what he was here for. He was here to help me. His verse is coming up in this song, so I'm going to listen to it. And if I sing along until my death, it makes a lot of lies, but I'll cherish every breath. I'm going to send you there first. I'm going to send you there worse. And before I go, say hello to my little friend. You will remember my name. I wanted to live forever, but this wasn't fame. You know, his verse, he raps about fucking everybody over in his life at the church to be famous. And at the end of the day, his life was about the exact opposite of that. He did an interview, I believe it was either Dr. Drew or Dr. Phil, when he got out of jail in Arizona. And it's when everything clicked for me. And they asked him about it. It was post when he pretended to be an FBI agent and got arrested for it. And he said, I've never laid harm to anyone else. I have self-destructive tendencies to have self-destructive behavior. I've only harmed myself, never harmed those around me. And it turns out so many years later that I learned something that I never knew, that he was tricked into becoming a crack addict and could never overcome that demon. And that adversity is something I can't relate to, but I can relate to the pain of not being able to overcome certain things. But his 24 Hours to Live verse, he lived the exact opposite life. Yes, he did cheat on everybody. He's got way too many kids, way too many women. You know, he did that. That's the pain he caused. But when he was on DMX Grand Champs, he said, yeah, I got, this many kids, but I'm a father to all of them. And, he was able to do that. And being able to do that, if that's true, because, I could even be misremembering what he said, but I believe that line to be true, that if he was able to do all the dirt he did and still become a father to all those children that didn't ask to be here, didn't ask for their father to go through so much, to not be there when it's seemingly he had a choice. How can you not respect that? He lived a life of trials and tribulations, and he talks about that in all of his songs. I was talking to my buddy McNally today. We worked together, and he was trying to make me feel better, and I appreciate that. And we were trying to talk about certain things, and we talked about his fourth album, Great Depression, how a lot of people don't fuck with it, and how it's not that great of an album. And I said, honestly, because I listened to every album today. I listened to the first 6 albums today. And I told him this because I just finished the Great Depression. I said, honestly, for me, And There Was X, his third album, was his most commercial album. It was, how do we get the most amount of songs on the radio? How do we get the most commercial feeling? I said, because the Great Depression just sounds like he's trying to find himself. Sounds like he's trying to find his voice again. Like he lost his voice on the album before that. I mean, 3 didn't have Damien on it. And fucking on the Great Depression, AOD, what the fuck, you forgot about me? Like, that's how Damien 3 starts. Because as much as we wanted Damien, he brought Damien back. And, X was a man of many faults, but all to himself, man. All to himself. And I reminded my man McNally that the Grand Champ's a solid fucking album, man. Solid album. And it's not about hitters. It's about the vibe of the whole fucking thing, man. It takes you on ups and downs. It relays back the stories of his pain, his strife. That's just shit that I've related to. Shouts to Chad Grapple and Cheap Pop. Said they listened to Slippin' for the first time in a long time today, and it got me. I appreciate that. You let his music just feel to you. I've never once. You know what? I'm on Flesh in my flesh in my headphones now. I'm gonna go to Slippin'. This song is so special. So real quick, I'm gonna pause this. So in the timeline of things, in '97, I was gearing up towards 7th grade, and in 6th grade, Biggie's Hypnotized was huge, and More Money, More Problems was huge. And I was just like, this isn't the hip hop that I like. Why is this all like pop music? I don't like pop music. I just never did. I used to be a huge Mariah Carey fan for the vocals of it, the singing of it. Yes, it's considered pop music, but it was singing. Boys to Men, it was singing, that soulfulness, that rhythm of the rhythm and blues. I was big into that. It's never into pop music, man. So when all that shit was happening, I don't know why I'm not a bigger fan of the Lox, man. I should be. I love everything they do. I just, but that same vibe doesn't hit, and I don't know why. I think that's just because X was so raw in everything. So in 7th grade, it was 97 turning 98, and in 98, X dropped his first album. And the Rough Riders anthem just took over. And then by Christmas of 8th grade, Flesh in My Flesh, Blood in My Blood came out, and I had Cash for Christmas, and that was the first album I ever bought from a store. And I bought it from Walmart, and I bought it edited. And this is a decent Slippin' story, to be honest. I learned how to ad-lib every song that DMX ever put out because I, like Biggie said, I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Like, I burnt this CD out, man. I used to listen to it before I went to bed. It spoke to me. Flesh in My Flesh, Blood in My Blood spoke to me. It made me feel like I wasn't alone anymore. Like I was listening to somebody who understood what was going on in my head. I didn't know what was going on. When I moved, my mother made me see a therapist in school on the low. Like, she didn't even tell me it was a therapist. I would see counseling in middle school for kids that were full of divorce, and we didn't know we were seeing counselor together. We were just sitting there telling stories. Like, I got snuck all this shit. And then I put in Flesh in my flesh, blood in my blood, and he told me everything's cool. That entire record told me everything was cool without cursing at me, because I bought it at Walmart. And that's when I learned that Walmart don't sell curse records. And I could, like I said, I can ad-lib any X song based off of what I know he would do from Slippin' and every other song on there. And my brother was living in Delaware at the time, because he moved to Delaware when I was in 3rd grade. So from 3rd to 9th, I lived up there by myself with my mom, and he lived down here with my dad. And he bought Flesh in My Flesh, but with the parental advisory on it, so he had it unedited. And we would talk about Damien, how, like, yo, Marilyn Manson's on there. That shit's crazy. Like, the fact that DMX and Marilyn Manson would work together, because, you know, in school, that's not what would happen. You know, you couldn't be the skater kid, listen to goth kids, listen to Marilyn Manson and Blink 182 and fuck with DMX at the same time. You weren't allowed to. And I told him, I said, yo, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear that Slippin' unedited, man. Can't wait to hear that on your CD, because Slippin' Unedited has got to be dope, because the song is so dope with the edits. And I listened to it on his, and it was still edited. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. And like 10 years later, I heard that shit unedited, and it hits way different. It doesn't even touch the same feelings at all. I will take Slippin' edited all day long. And I'm gonna put that in my ear right now. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find the meaning in the suffering. And that's always meant so much to me, because it means no matter how bad it gets, as long as you on to the next, you're gonna be just fine. That and another line that's always stuck to me with X, and I'm getting it tatted on me at some point in time. He says, I don't like drama, so I stay to myself. And that state of myself is something I've done for many years. Happy days are not far away. If I'm strong enough, I live long enough to see my kids doing something more constructive with the time it bids. I'm in there. Sit back and look at what it took for me to get there. First came the ooh. She got on some flies, so I split and said that I'ma be that seed that doesn't need much to succeed. Strapped with mad greed and a heart that doesn't bleed. Or at least I thought I was back in, not thinking about how short I was. She forcing me to be a man. Stand about a helping hand. Damn, wasn't my fault, something I did. That's just doing my first bid. The night of the scene. By all means, I will be living high off the heart. By much, but my dogs. I had off the last. Just another little, come on. And when X did the remix hook to this, and would just do, I'm slipping, I'm falling. The first time I heard it, I was like, oh man, because the vibe of the hook. Then I was going through some shit. And you can hear the pain. The fucking pain. I gets worse as I get older. Actions become vulgar. Heart got colder. You know, to touch. Because I scared it that much. Used to get high just to get by. Used to have to woo before I get by. A couple of 40s made me hate something. Ready to something. Some besides the stress. Didn't keep my hair cut. Give a fuck how I dress. I'm possessed. With a bloody knife. But I'm wooed up. I'm slipping and falling. I can't get up. You know, I've been through so many jobs and relationships, and especially within my own family, where I never felt good enough. And this song lets me know that the struggle and coming out on the backside of the struggle feeling okay means you are good enough. I mean, shouts to Macklemore. McNally sent me a post that Macklemore put on Instagram. And I'm not a Macklemore fan at all. And the fact that he's inspired by DMX is really odd to me, because it's not that you got to bite his style, but you at least got to, like, you know, maybe stick your chest out a different way. He seems just so cartoony, and it bothers me because it doesn't feel authentic. But he perfectly described the authenticity of slipping. The fact that DMX speaks on insecurities and addiction issues and trying to get your mind right, and how hard it is to get your mind right when you're going through addiction issues. And, you know, like I said, I don't know that world. I don't know how to be in that scenario, but I know how to feel like you're not good enough, like you can't overcome. And X has always done that, because, I mean, even the end of this song, at the end of Slippin', he goes through this whole thing, and then he sticks his chest out, just X, baby, and he lets it out, just screams, because he knows if he doesn't try, he doesn't succeed. If he doesn't rep himself, nobody's going to rep for him. And I felt like a loner for a real long time. And I still do. I feel it's my safest place, is to be by myself. You know, the real odd part about this whole wrestling podcast community, I don't like people. People have let me down my entire life, inside and outside of family. And through me being the common denominator, another thing X has told me is that I need to be myself and work on myself. And if I work on myself, then that's good enough. I found so many people in this community that know that when it's all said and done, that I'm true. I don't bullshit. I don't pacify feelings, not even my own. I'm here to be truthful. I'm here to be myself, minus the name. But that's for other reasons. Other reasons that X helps me through. I'm ashamed of many things in my life, but I'm not ashamed of me. I'm not ashamed of me. And X told me that. X told me that. I'm gonna switch over to How's It Going Down on It's Dark and Hell is Hot. My music app has ads. What the fuck is this? And How's It Going Down? And it's the best two number 10 songs in back-to-back disc history. How's It Going Down and Slippin'. Like, come on. I used to look for number 10s on albums to compete with those two. Couldn't do it, man. You know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I know whenever I'm ever going through something, I put DMX on and he makes me feel better. And today's so hard. It's the same music. But I'm trying to feel better because he's gone. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. The 25th, Nathan nigga coming through like I do, getting my bark on. That's it, coming through like I do, getting my bark on. It's not about what she wants him to be. It's about who he is and feeling confident in himself. And then, man, there's so many other songs where he admits that he's wrong. There's so many other songs where he gives the power back to the women because he knows his flaws. He enters a lot of these verbal exchanges with women's on equal ground. And he says it in a couple different songs about how hip hop's not about cars and chicks and shit. It's odd. It's odd because I've had to defend DMX for fucking 25 years. This one guy I used to work with. Why do people like DMX get to have second and third chances at careers, but Jurassic 5's not famous? I'm like, I don't know, man. In the hip hop community, Jurassic 5's as famous as it gets. One of the most respected groups in hip hop is Jurassic 5. You just got to know hip hop to give a shit. And I don't know, man. I'm just. When I found out, I was in the middle of working and I was in disbelief because it didn't hit. And then I got to sit down and I got to look at it. I got to talk. And I was just crying fucking 2.5 hours straight today, man. I feel so empty. So empty. I'm not a DMX historian. I've forgotten so much. So much. I read his book, Earl, as told to Smokey D. Fontaine. And, Smokey tries to tell the best story he can out of what X was giving him. And I got the vibe that, all X ever wanted to do was succeed at his own pace. X has a line. I ain't signing shit. I love my fans. You've seen that Woodstock video go out on the amount of people that he touched. And he doesn't mind touching them as long as they don't touch him. And he did that with me. I never met him. But I got to see him live once. Yeah, I got to see him live once, 2 years ago. The missus and I, we had just achieved a major goal of moving to the best school district in our area. So when our kids started kindergarten, he can go to the best place. But I was so mentally drained that, I was thinking of things the wrong way. And we bought the house. We moved in on Super Bowl Sunday. We closed the 1st of February, moved in Super Bowl Sunday. And Valentine's Day, very, very special day to me and her. She gave me tickets to DMX Concert. And she knows how much X means to me. And she got 3 tickets, so me, her, and the homie Luke could go together. And I remember standing at the top of that building in Philadelphia just saying, I don't believe I'm here. Because somebody who's always been in my ear, or I could see on TV, he's in my ear without headphones, and he's right in front of me. It was the most surreal thing. And I've been to several concerts. I've seen Snoop, Busta Rhymes, Linkin Park, 50, Eminem and Jay-Z at that tour. And I saw DMX with fucking 2,500 people in a small ass building with the worst stage design, and I felt out of body. It's a moment I'll never forget. I got to see him live, and it really felt like I didn't know where I was. I listened to DMX so much, especially as a kid, man. I'm gonna switch over to Grand Champ. Grand Champ is very special to me. It was DMX coming back to prominence after the Great Depression. A lot of people didn't feel the album. And the dog intro gets me through everything. It gets me through everything. He talks about the symbiotic relationship between humans and dogs, and loyalty and love. Get the picture, see the beauty and the beast of the bad man is here. It smells wreck in the air. Doing the same shit, ruining, and not thick like the fog. If I had was a dog, never ate a hog. I say I smoked plenty. To name one of many. You worse than your mama. Eat you worse like Dharma. I'ma that ass out like a bomber. Looking like he wanted drama. Pain, it hurts. I gotta scream. Letting off a little steam. I have not been able to scream today. That part in that song where he just lets go and screams. That's the moment that centers me. Every time I'm hurting. Every time I'm in pain. You know, DMX, he says, I love dogs more than I love humans. And I don't necessarily feel that way, but I understand what he's saying. There's a loyalty there. It's a symbiotic relationship that, you know, the true give and take of love given, love received. You know, I'm so numb right now. So numb. My buddy texts me, McNally again, he texts me on Saturday. He's like, yo, X ain't good, man. Drug OD. He's in the hospital. Coma. Don't look good. I'm like, what the fuck? I was out to eat with my family. And I told my wife, I said, hey, you know, the message said, and so I looked it up. Like 2 minutes later, you know, my wife was like, you okay? I just started crying. Because he meant that much to me. He means that much to me. I don't know why. You know, I'm not going to fake the funk here. Like, yeah, something about the lyrics, something about the voice just fucking speaks to me. I started crying at the dinner table, and I gathered myself together, and then for the next 5 days, all I did was refresh and try to find a credible news source, so a lot of y'all out there didn't say he was dead when he wasn't. And that fucking roller coaster, man, I've lost so much sleep. I've tried to hold it together for the podcast that I've put out there, and I appreciate all the support. I just wanted to get on here and say my piece because DMX is so misunderstood. Because it's never about the misogyny or the violence. It never All the misogyny is his lack of confidence in being himself and gaining a relationship because he didn't grow up watching relationships. I've been there. I am there. I'm not a great husband. I was never a good boyfriend. And it's not because of the influence of DMX's lyrics. It's because I grew up with my mom having countless boyfriends because she had a bad relationship with my father. My father having lots of girlfriends because he had a horrible relationship with my mother. So that influence is there. And then I realize that as I project my past on me, what I saw growing up, that if I grow through that pain, that struggle of not knowing how to be a man, and I focus on what I can change and what I can do in my actions and my confidence in myself, I could be a good dude who treats women well because I'm worth it. Don't mask my insecurities on how I treat them. That's all from X lyrics. That's what those words taught me. I mean, the song Good Girls, Bad Guys is all about the power of that relationship working together. There's a song on Grand Champ that's very special to my wife and I. And it depends on where you are when you hear it. It's called Don't Gotta Go Home. It's featuring Monica. And the premise of the lyrics is having a side piece. It's basically what it is. He says it right in the beginning. We're all men. You know how it goes. Love one, fuck another. And it's an ode to the side piece. And when we were kids, we had relationships, but we would always get together. And then what you find out the song is about is that it's not the physical relationship between you and the side piece. It's the emotional relationship. It's not about making sure you can cheat on your wife. It's about knowing that the person that loves you might not be the one that you're with. It's the one that you keep going to. And I was shopping today, and this song came on, and I just started crying. Because my wife and I, we've known each other for that long. For the 18 years of this album. And we've been through up and downs. And we've only been married 7 years. You know, been together 13 of them. You know, but that 5 years in between was this song. It's not a good wedding song, so that's why we didn't pick it. But the merit of the song is about always being there for each other, even though you can't be there when maybe you want to be. But you're there when you have to be, when the other person needs you. It's not the best scenario, but at the end of the day, that's who you're with. That's who you want to be with. And that love between two people, that's what the song means to me. And on surface level, yeah, it's about cheating, but it's not. It's about being in the wrong place. X says it, like, this is where I feel like I belong. If loving you is right, then I ain't wrong. Like, he loves this girl, but he's got a wife and victim of circumstance. But at the end of the day, you cherish the right relationship. Because if you have core values in yourself that you're trying to get out, X is there for you. Believe that. Believe that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing on here. I'm just listening to X and trying to remember that at the end of the day, he was a flawed man who never catered to anybody else's depiction of who he is. And I honestly, dead honestly feel that this album right here, And There Was X, was not his choice. And that this one right here, Great Depression, was him trying to find himself. Because every story you ever need X to hear is on Grand Champ. Any story you want him to tell you is on there. Pain and suffering. I have so many favorite songs. I have so many favorite collaborations. Because for me, it's always, with X, it's always front to back. I never skip. I can't even curate a playlist. You know. It would start with one song. It would absolutely start with one song. And then it would just evolve into damn near everything. Because, I mean, that Eminem tells an entire story on the album. You know, that's not what X did, but he tells a story every song. And Kato comes on after this, and that's a tough one to listen to right now, and I'm not vibing, not feeling it. I don't, you know, I'm gonna put on Dogs Out. You know, again, this was him coming back to his roots. This song, Dogs Out, starts out, this is dedicated to the streets. Like, he's trying to get back to the people who supported him from the beginning. I don't know. I feel so numb. I've cried so much over the last week. And again, I don't know. I said his life wasn't about me, but you know, when you're a celebrity on that level, you touch so many people. And that time in 98 into 99, and then we're riding the bus going to baseball games, and I brought my radio so we can listen to X on the way to baseball games. And I'm putting people up on DMX, letting them know, you know, how dope this shit is. I don't know. All I know is I listened to Grand Champ today and just fucking lost it. And then I put the Great Depression on after that, and I lost it. And then I put on Year of the Dog again, and I started to rebound a bit, but then there's just lines here and there that just gets me, and thoughts just gets me, because he speaks to me. He's always speaking to me. He's the voice of my soul. He really is. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. You know, I think I said it on a podcast not too long ago, that I've introduced my son to DMX, and I played him the anthem edited. And the Rough Riders anthem has one of the best hooks of all time. And then the remix, the hook gets even better. And that's another thing too. DMX is not too artsy to say that you can't fuck with his shit. DJ Clue remixed the song. He's like, I don't like the song, but the hook is dope. And it goes from stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop, to my dogs go stop, your dogs go drop. I'm like, damn, that hook is better. And then turns out every live performance since that moment, That's what he does. That's what he does. He respects it, man. I'm gonna go to YouTube and play one of my favorite collabs. The grand finale from the Belly soundtrack. I remember being in 8th grade. Having this soundtrack and letting kids borrow it. You know, them fucking skater kids who were trying to write hip-hop lyrics because Limp Bizkit came out. I'm like, yeah, y'all can fake the funk if you want. I'll let you borrow the CD. I mean, it was before I had a burner. I think that was even in the 2000s anyway. And then I'm going to play the DMX Jay-Z on Ja Rule's shit. I forget what that one's called. I think it's called Live With It. End of the road. Haha. You a dog for life. When you a dog for life. Method Man absolutely kills the song. Ghetto J son, itchy trigger figure 8 game, snatch your ass at that ass crack for fake game, 44 blast, it's the buck bath path. Get fucked here. You get bucked here. The unstoppable third eye watching you, watching me, throwing rocks from the penalty box, cop a plea. Don't doubt me. You ride for me. For better or worse, you and I from the dirt. So hard it hurts. And each year, I'm pouring out more beer for my streets peers. Holding forward. Police line do not cross. They found his corpse in the loft with the head cut off and butt naked. Homicide, the crime method. And another killer verse to the murder record. Method Man absolutely kills it. He's so good. Getting bent like a poem. Nas' verse is good too, but I think he's third. I think Nas is third on this. Ja Rule's on it too. He hits a hook. But X's lyrics are very reminiscent of what's his mindset. I lost my grip on reality, or so it would seem. I pinch myself to wake up because I know it's a dream. To end. Only 5 in. Fast forward through Josh shit. Right. Let us fly. Come on. You gonna get it? You gonna bust your guns to get it? My grip on reality is so it would seem. Pinch myself to wake up, and I know it's a dream. Don't know me, think I'm a robber. Know me well, see me, and think I'm a problem. I'm just a man that understood. Tell your last name to Underwood. I'm gonna take it and run with it. That's me. That's D. The more blood flows with the snub nose. All up in your mouth like he tried to kiss you. How much you need, beat you down with the gas. See how much you bleed, how much you plead for your life. One more time. One more. Come on, Prime. This is the shit that ends arguing. The last one standing or the last one to fall. Oh, man. I wish I could play music on the podcast through live stream. Just so I wouldn't have to be rapping to myself and mumbling through. So it's murder. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was that one or maybe it's on a Jay-Z track. Live with it, money, drugs, and murder for life. Deal with it, only loving them hoes for. I think that's Jay-Z and Memph Bleak. But yeah, it's murder is phenomenal. Ja Rule, It's Murder, featuring DMX and Jay-Z. It's one of the rare songs where DMX features and he's on first. I got my back against the building. I'm the villain that's creeping around corners. Warn us. What I gonna do? He's been in my waist. Not with me. Turning into murderers. Could fuck with a third of us. Another box. I'll put on Money Cash Hoes after this. Yeah. Slug on you. It's murder. It's murder. What's up? The world and I throw something. Style with your memory out. That's my favorite Jay-Z line. Leave you slump Kennedy style with your memory out. I'll hide you. X and Ja Rule. Alright. I'll just do DMX and Jay-Z hit Money Cash Hoes. Excuse me. Man, this sucks. This really sucks. Jay-Z in the Jesse Armstead jersey. That's right. This was from what's that? Tim Robbins and Martin Lawrence movie. It's also on the CD. Maybe not. What else is this from? Shouts to Beans. Oh, this is the More Money, More Cash, More Hoes. So it's the remix. What's the movie? Mark Wahlberg in it. Oh, it's The Big Heist, I think it was called. Something like that, The Big Score or something. It's not the song I wanted. It's not the song I wanted. Rob All Night. Cause it's on Hard Knock Life. Yeah, see, that's the More Money, More Cash, More Hoes. That's the remix. Let's see if I get the videos here. Get the right one. Jay-Z, Money. There it is. There's the right one. Not on open box. There it is. Maybe that's the one. You kidding me? So that's why. Gotta be premium. Got time for that. All right, and money, power, respect. Let's do that. Oh no, that's money, power, respect is Lil Kim. It's the DMX, the locks. That's some new shit, about shit. Yeah. It is on money, power, respect. That's because Kim is on the Mob Deep shit, the real shit. That's right. So much hip hop back then. It's the wrong one. Money, power, respect. Here we go. Oh, Lil Kim is on it. Yeah. Again, so much hip hop. She's the hook. Duh. Fucking power. Power. Fucking. Yeah. Lil Kim's on Quiet Storm though. Phenomenal song. Shouts to Mob Deep. Mm-hmm. X used to always go on last. Always go on last. And it was because nobody could follow his energy. It wasn't necessarily about the lyrics. Because that's the thing. I mean, any song he was on with the locks, Kiss was going to body it. But you can't fuck with that X energy. I think I think I'm gonna be okay. When it's all said and done, the catalog's not going away. There's another album in the works. DMX was on Grand Champs, and said that he was working with Def Jam to bring out another album. Swiss was on the beats, of course, and that's another thing too. I was thinking of DMX and how he was as a person. You can tell was not his demons. Because why did so many people still love and support him and try to help him? If he was his demons, then he could no longer have the loyalty that he did. And he was a man who was not his demons. And I'm glad that I could take that and apply that to my life. On my old Twitter account, we were trying to raise money to help with a diagnostic surgery for one of our dogs, Archie. He was a rescue, and he was the first pit bull that I ever had, and oh, he's a pit bulldog mix. They didn't know 100% what it was, but they were pretty sure that American bulldog and pit were in there. And I felt that because I didn't want to. I didn't want to feel that X-type love for a dog. And my wife really wanted a rescue, and we moved to a house with a really nice sized yard, and we had 4 dogs. We had lost one already, and I didn't want to go through the pain, but I saw the shape he was in, and I knew we could help. And within 6 months, he started getting crazy nosebleeds, and I had gone to California for training. It's gone for 2 weeks. And when I came home, he ran up to me and was licking my face like crazy. He missed me so much. And my guy Arch, man, he just wanted a home. He was a street dog. He had his teeth all worn down. And for me, again, like I said, it was so hard to want to have that another dog to invest ourselves in, because it made it worth it. But when we were trying to raise money for that surgery, we couldn't. See if I get this picture up here of my man Arch. That's my guy Archie, man. We put a GoFundMe out there, and it got some love, but not enough to have the surgery. And because they told us that, look, he's got a nasal cavity tumor blockage, a blockage that's most likely a tumor. And if it is a tumor, this $5,000 procedure would then require another $12,000 procedure to get rid of it. And, best case scenario is that the tumor wasn't there and they made a mistake, but it was going to be there. So we were looking for help and we couldn't get it. And I put this tweet out the day before we had to put Archie down. I said, I'm 35, lived my own life of ups and downs. So August 21st of 2020. I'm 35. I've lived my own life of ups and downs. But every time I see DMX be real or hear a song unexpectedly, I'm 13 again. I don't feel alone. I know I'll be okay. I get in touch with my emotions in a primal way. I don't know how to explain it, but it means the world to me that it can happen. I've seen so many people try to be fans of this guy because they think they know. Or all the hashtags and shit, and people trying to RIP this man before he had a chance. And I got suckered in so many times because he means that much to me. And today his music couldn't make me happy. His music, it made me feel everything else. It made me feel everything else. And in the terms of all of that, I just couldn't get happy. I couldn't get happy. And I will. I know I will. I know I will. But it's always been this way for me. the second something is wrong, I can put DMX on and I can feel okay. I remember one time I had DMX playing in the car, and me and the wife get in there, and she goes, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "You got X playing." I said, I was just vibing. I needed a little bit of X. I got the pickup, and then we just went with it. Because it's not the same emotion, not even for the same song. Sometimes you put on slipping to remind yourself. That it can all go away, that it can leave your grasp. You know, sometimes you put on slipping for that gut check. Sometimes you put on the anthem. You put on the Rough Riders anthem to get hype. Or sometimes you put on the anthem just to groove. Nosy people get it too. When you see me spit at you, you know I'm trying to get rid of you. Yeah, I know it's pitiful. You know, you can vibe to it as well. It doesn't have to just be fucking, let's get. Nah, it doesn't have to be that. X meant the world to me, man. X meant the world to me. And I've tried to raise my son to never need his music the way I needed it. And I'm having a hard time. Because I know I cause him pain. Because I can't get over my own. I'm gonna play a couple more songs, and then I'll get off of here. I'm gonna play "Fame" from his third album, and there was X. You know, X had a hard time dealing with being famous, but he also knew what the fame was causing to him. And in my life, my success is my fame. Anytime I'm doing good, something's got to undercut me. A family member, bills, whatever. Take it for what it's worth. My birth was a blessing. Set to live and die on this earth as a lesson. We each have a star. All we have to do is find it. And when you do, everyone who sees it will be blinded. And that's what I hope this podcast is. On earth as a lesson. All we have to do is find it. And what you do, everyone who sees it will be blinded. You have a future. They tell you that you're bright and say you have a future. But when you turn your back, the same cats will try to shoot you. And to me, that doesn't mean be careful of who you trust in the context of just brand new people. You know, who used to tell me I was bright and I have a future, you know, is my family. I used to get told all the time, you're smarter than this, you can do better than that, and all this. And everyone who gave me that pseudo boost of confidence, you know, my mother in particular, would tell me I'm too smart to be a cook. I'm too smart to waste my knowledge on being in the kitchen. But that's where my passion was. That's where my heart was. It still is. I love cooking for my family. She would tell me how smart I was and then go to people and tell them in her circle that I was getting this grade or that grade, and like a week later she would tell me that, I would embarrass her. My attitude, my effort, that I was an embarrassment. That's what that line means to me. They'll tell you that you're bright and say you have a future, but when you turn your back, the same cats will try to shoot you. I've been told to my face by several people, and then behind my back, it's a different. That they'll tell me enough just to pull me in, and then I walk out the door and there's no love at all. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. I'm here for truth and honesty, love and compassion. I'm here for positive energy. And no matter the lyrics, X is not negative energy. Self-deprecation and positivity. Recognize your faults. Overcome everything. Ever since got paid for around my flow. Went from doing time to being kind, because I know I'm gonna live forever. I'm never gonna die. And he did it. He did it. DMX passed away today, but his music's gonna live forever and for generations. I don't know. Go ahead. Believe that. Leave that alone. Be at your home. The heat at your dome. You got the bone. This is what we live for and die for. You cry for. Never gonna wait. Thinking straight. Gonna live forever. Never gonna die. Never gonna fly. We're gonna die straight. We're gonna lie. We gotta use it right. Use a knife. Yeah, after I'm gone. Through the strength of a song and live on. And you do, man. Actually, you absolutely do. And that's not really enough. You know what's up. Dark man, baby. I got to be the realest up in this game. Make it like this no more. Believe in, even if what I believe in stops me from breathing. Relatives grieving. Nah, I ain't went nowhere. I'm right here. That's the shit I'm talking about. That's the shit I'm talking about. In the same vein in the beginning, everyone who doesn't want you to succeed or adds negative energy, I mean, Dark man, baby, that's my name, and I got to be the realest up in this game. They don't make them like this no more. Even if what I believe in stops me from breathing, relatives grieving, I ain't went nowhere. To the song. Never sacrifice your integrity. Be you. Never sacrifice your integrity. Be yourself. There's two people in this world. There's two people in this world that have taught me that lesson. Coach Sean. I love you, Coach. And DMX. Never sacrifice your integrity. Stand for what I believe in. even if what I believe in stops me from breathing. You will never see me sacrifice my integrity. I will never cow down to anyone. I don't care. I have zero left to prove to anyone. I am here for me. I'm here for me. And if any part of me helps you, I appreciate that. I just don't know. I wanted to get on here and just talk. I wish I could share the music with you. I recorded the audio, but I'm going to delete it now because it doesn't make sense as a podcast. You know, let's get through this song, and then maybe I'll close on the anthem. Song Here We Go Again, number 6 on Endeavor's X. And it's the frustration of trying to work through your problems with anybody. He's talking about a shorty, but this is me writing people off in my life. And if you treat people this way, then you should feel okay walking away from those scenarios. You put in the time, you put in the effort, you protect that effort and energy from the people around them and you to give yourself. Running out of battery. Shorty fucking up big time. I hate this shit. Said I didn't want to put the Mac on him. So I did the only thing I could do and turn my back on him. Let's just walk away. Let it ride. But then you start to get the feeling that maybe you should patch this up and give it another shot. You know, don't dead it. Put in the work. Even when you think you're done. You know. I just want to say, all right, go ahead. Let's see if you this peeps a favor. It says made went against the rules of the game that we play. You know, and that decision that you make that goes against the rules of the game that we play. This game of life has unwritten rules. You can choose your friends, you can't choose your family. That's not true. And I'm not saying that. I'm just being honest out here. I've gone through so much that when they talk about unconditional love, it's supposed to come from family, and it doesn't all the time. There's got to be a balance there. There's got to be a balance there. Rap when I act, set them up, take 2, get them there, take 3, get them done. Confronted them. There is a bullet in one of them. You know, that when I act, set them up, get them there, get them done. Like, and then the metaphor of Russian roulette and the amount of opportunities it takes to work through problems to get to that point. So many people have taken DMX on the literal level. I've never seen DMX literal. That's not how I never once felt that way. And the older I got, you know, by reading his book and listening to interviews and stories, I realized that he was just going through pain. And his music was a way of expressing that pain. Again, his lyrics don't really change. He says the same thing on so many albums and songs. But it's the way he says those things that you get a different emotion, a different feeling every time. And yeah. I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken because DMX was an entity to me, and you should never God people who aren't. And that's another thing, the God aspect of it. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and I went all the way through communion, and I walked away from it because I didn't believe what was being told of me. And DMX always had a grasp on what the concept of God meant to him. And I even said it to myself so many times this week that if anyone would be comfortable in the position that they're in, that X is in, it would be X. He would be the one to say, this is my time. This is my father calling me home. I mean, he says it on so many records. And I used to be naive as a kid and think about it in the in the way the prejudgment way. Oh, well, how can somebody curse and talk about fucking and killing people and still talk to God? And that's what I realized, the hypocrisy of kids and adults and right and wrong. And you don't get to choose that. You don't get to choose that. You don't get to choose right and wrong. You don't get to put constructs on that. DMX was a self-destructor. He was a self-destructor. He didn't put other people in harm's way when it came to his demons. If anything, he's helped so many more people than he's hurt. Because if he's only hurt himself and he helped me, I know somebody else got help out there too. If anybody was comfortable with their time, it was him. He's referenced it on so many songs 15 years ago, 20 years ago. If anybody was comfortable saying goodbye, it was him. But I'm just a guy who was a kid when he met him, metaphorically, through a CD player. I always stuck up for DMX, and I always will. People ask me top 5 rappers of all time, Mount Rushmore's, all that. I tell them every time, it starts with X. It starts with X. You can't tell me wrong. Because there's 0 other hip-hop artists out there that made me feel this way. Has ever touched my emotions. It starts with X. I don't care about anyone else. No other hip-hop artist has made me feel feelings. There's definitely artists that do dope shit. Nobody can flip words like Pun. Nobody can flip words like Pun. Nobody can tell stories like Big. Biggie told some fucking stories, man. You want to go along for a ride? Listen to a Biggie song. Nobody can spit. Nobody's flow was tighter than Pun's. Nobody can lay rhymes. Nobody can rhyme words better than Eminem. Nobody makes it look easier than Snoop. Nobody puts it all together better than Jay-Z. But not one of them has ever made me feel better when I was sad. Got me hyped before a basketball game. Made me feel happier in a moment of happiness. Like, yeah, you can party to some shit. You put X on, I just get happier and happier. You know, you put music on to maintain a vibe at a party because you at the party, but you put X on, I get my element. I've never been aggressive because of X. I've always just been me. And if it wasn't for DMX, I don't know where I would be or who I would be. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I would be as comfortable with myself. DMX was part of my therapy, making me realize I am enough. I am all right. Because everybody goes through this shit. Even celebrities, artists. People who have it all still don't have enough. It hurts because the pain is deep. He was an imperfect human. with a heart of gold, man. Seeing him in 2019 in Philadelphia will forever be a memory I'll never forget. It's amazing. It's amazing. He had terrible stamina. You can tell it was, a money grab to get his shit back together. And I would have supported it every time. They actually did a wraparound. The beginning of the tour and the end of the tour were in Philly, and I was going to go to the second show. And I was like, nah, we'll wait till the next time. And there is no next time. But had we not gone, I'd have been worse today. And there's so much I've left out because I just can't think. But if you hung around and listened, I appreciate it. I'm just a guy who was influenced by X and appreciated every second I had a chance to listen to his music, and will continue to do that. And I hope for peace in his family. I hope for peace in his own heart. I hope that at the end of the day, X is where he belongs. For me, X is my guy. I've read three books that I can remember actually reading my entire life. I don't like to read. It bothers me. It bothers me to read. I read Mankind's book, Have a Nice Day. I read a Brett Favre book. And I read DMX's book. I thank whoever has watched this video. I appreciate all the love that X was given. I appreciate those who shed love to me. Anyone who knows me knows how much this hurts. DMX has been the voice of my soul since I was 13. And when I got that first album, right before my 14th birthday, it's been 22 years of non-stop CD playing. 23 if you include Mace's album. I would play 24 Hours to Live and Why You Girl Over There Staring at Me, or Why You Over There Looking at Me While My Girl Standing Here. Play those two songs like crazy. Belly soundtrack I wore out. Man, I wish we could just listen to the music together, because it's just such a misconception on what X was talking about. And hey, artistic interpretation, you know what I mean? A red splotch on a fucking white canvas is worth $1 billion. And the artistic representation of DMX is the best is. The dog, DMX is, the best is, the rest is, they might as well be helpless. It's my guy. X is my guy, man. My buddy Lou used to joke about, X's energy because of his demons, and I always got the joke because I knew, that it was a part of his past. I didn't realize it was an everyday demon, and I don't think he did either. And when he reached out to me today, there was no jokes, and that's because there's all love there anyway. But shit breaks my heart, man. Breaks my heart because I just always hope for peace for him. I saw when he was putting on weight, and he wasn't skinny hood X no more. He was old man, probably a grandpa, X. He was getting the belly and shit. I was like, okay, cool. Usually when people kick addictions, they add weight, and I was hoping that that's what happened, is that he had kicked his addictions and he was putting weight on because he didn't have those addictions no more. And, but I'm pretty sure that himself and his family would all agree that he's home now. He's in the hands of his God, his Lord and Savior. He's at the seat that he belongs in for the rest of eternity. And I know when I'm 60, 70, 80 years old, his music's still going to play to me. If I'm fortunate enough to live that long, he shall live through me as well. Earl Simmons, a.k.a. the dog, getting down for real and going hard. It's always we right here. Yeah. It's always we right here. DMX and I be the best. You see the rest, they looking like they need a rest. One more time. All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with me. No plugs, no promos. It's just me telling my story. And, maybe I can do some type of homage show where I can use the actual music and put it on Spotify or something as I listen through these albums, kind of let you guys in on how these songs make me feel. But I tweeted a lot about what X was going through and how I was feeling, and I've been crushed, man. I've been crushed. I'm just a guy, man. I'm just a fucking regular dude who when DMX was performing any song through the radio, CD, and for that fortunate one time that he wasn't speaking to my ears, man. He was speaking to my soul. And it sounds corny, it is what it is, but you don't feel this way because you like somebody's ability to perform music. It's not what this is. So thank you, everybody, for taking a chance to view this video. Thank you, DMX. You've meant the world to me for so long. And I look forward to the day that I could fully immerse myself in your music again and enjoy it with the rest of the world. And hey, that could be as soon as tomorrow, my man. You were loved, man. You were loved. Fuck, man. X. Fuck. Do yourself a favor if you are not a fan of DMX. If you don't consider him talented or haven't necessarily given him a chance, find edited versions of his music that cuts out the harshness, and with the ad libs, with the barks, with the whats, and all of that, you can still maintain the essence of it, and you can hear the story that he's trying to tell you. It's there. If it's not there for you, it's definitely there for me. Ride or die. But it's always ride. It's always ride. And when you say where your dog's at, it's always we right here. Thank you, X. Thank you.